Good morning and welcome to this week's weekly soul guidance with myself, Rebecca, founder of Loubet. Thanks for tuning in and watching. I'd really appreciate if you enjoy these weekly videos, if you could like the videos and share them and comment on them just to help get my views up and help support this channel and the messages that I give. Thank you. So, this week there are quite a few astrological events happening as per last week. How did you find last week with all of those astrological shifts happening? My week was fairly okay. Lots of exploring. I'm still here in the south of France. I'm still in Villeneuve Loubet, just because we love this campsite and it's a great base for exploring the French Riviera. So we're going to be here until February the 8th. And since recording the last video, we've explored Nice for the first time. So if you want to check out the photos of what we got up to, you can go on my Instagram or Facebook to see those. But Nice is absolutely my favourite place so far. Absolutely stunning views. And I'm finding with these places along the French Riviera that it's when you climb and go up to the top and then look down on these towns, these coastal towns, is when you see the beautiful views and when you get that wonderful feeling. And it was the same with Nice, when you go up to where the castle is and you look down upon the beautiful city and you see the coast. Oh, it's just stunning. And then a couple of days ago we visited Monte Carlo. Not as stunning as Nice, very quiet. I know we see it a lot on the television, don't we, when it's the Formula One race in there. And I enjoyed Monte Carlo. And again, it was beautiful, stunning when we got up to the top. And we actually walked into Monaco City as well. We did 16,000 steps on that day. So we saw where the Prince of Monaco lives, saw the palace, saw the guards marching outside. That was amazing. Saw the cathedral, saw the chapel in Monte Carlo. And did you know in Monte Carlo, 1 in 3 people are millionaires? It's where a lot of rich people live. And I thought this was funny because Gary and I, in our whole day out there, spent €6. And we just got sandwiches and sat on the pavement and ate them. And we were majorly happy and had a wonderful day exploring. So it just shows you don't need a lot of money to have fun. And I wonder how happy those millionaires are that live there. Just made me have a good think about things. But yeah, I think tomorrow we're going to visit Cannes. Don't know anything about Cannes at all. I'm going to spend the rest of the day reading about it to work out where I want to go. And then we'll probably visit Saint-Tropez. What we're doing is getting on the train and visiting these places. And oh my God, the train ride is absolutely amazing because you get to see all the coastal towns. The train actually goes along the coast in both directions. So this is why this is a great place to stay for a bit. And then next Sunday, February the 5th, we've got family flying from England and Israel. And we're all going to spend 2 or 3 days in Nice because it's that big, you need to go back a few times. Then traveling with my stepdaughter and obviously Gary and Henry from here to Barcelona, a few days in Barcelona, and then we'll be traveling along the Spanish coast, eventually heading back up through Portugal and back in England for mid-April when spring has arrived. And it's a beautiful place to be in England at that time. So that's my plans. There may not be a week for soul guidance next week because I'll be busy spending time with family and exploring, but we'll see. I might be able to record it earlier. We'll see. Anyway, let's get on to the weekly soul guidance. So I'm just going to talk about a couple of astrological things that are happening this week, and then we'll go into the 4-card reading. So again, consulting my amazing moon diary that my friend Izzy bought me. I've worked out that this week we've got the pagan festival of Imbolc, which I believe is celebrated from February the 1st to February the 2nd. And it's based on a Celtic tradition, and it marks halfway point between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. So we had the winter solstice, didn't we, about 6 weeks ago? And I absolutely loved going into Delamere Forest to celebrate that, getting up for the sunrise and drinking my winter solstice tea. And I love winter solstice because it's the return of the sun, and I just hate winter, love spring and summer. And Imbolc is even more exciting because it means we're even closer to spring, the spring equinox. And as I said, that'll be when I'll be returning to England around that time. This diary's just got a beautiful little thing about Imbolc that I thought I'd read out. The dawn sky lightens a little earlier. The silence of the darkness softly unfurls. The sun moves from the still point of deep winter. There are stirrings of new life in the hedgerows and on the land. Oh, I've got goosebumps. The sap begins to rise. Tree buds swell. We stir earlier from our sleep, begin to stretch and open to the new day. The subtle shift around us is within us. Willow withers brighten the hedgerows with downy blossom. Hazel twigs set tiny flaming flowers. Blade-shaped leaves of snowdrop pierce the hard ground. Yeah, we should start to see snowdrops coming out, but how beautiful is that? And the illustrations in this book are amazing. This diary, the Astro Moon Diary 2022. And there's a beautiful another image I wanted to show you. Look at this. These would make great oracle cards. There's a swan in there, there's a wolf, snowdrops at the bottom. Not quite sure what that is, but I'm sure it's a well-known symbol. I'm sure you'll let me know in the YouTube comments. But yes, so what I was thinking of doing to celebrate Imbolc this year, because I've just done my crystal elixir webinar, was make a Imbolc crystal elixir to drink between February the 1st and the 2nd. So crystals that are good for Imbolc are clear quartz, citrine, and they're both water safe. So if you wanted to do that, you just need to soak those two crystals 3 days before to get any bits of dust or anything off them. And then you can put them directly in water in a glass and then leave that overnight to absorb the Imbolc energies and then drink it on the 2nd. So that is what I am going to do to celebrate this next turn in the wheel for this halfway point between winter solstice and spring equinox. Then, of course, on Sunday, February the 5th, we've got the full moon in Leo. So full moons are obviously a great time for letting go, for release. The Leo sign is obviously the lion. It's all about, it's in the element of fire. It's all about passion. And I feel like this full moon will bring a lot of attention to relationships, whether that's with, you know, romantic relationships or family or colleagues at work. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of passion. And we had the lovers card last week, didn't we? So if you're in a good place in your relationships, then obviously there's going to be a lot of passion, a lot of fiery energy. But if you're in a bad place, then it could result in, you know, fiery negative emotions. So just to be aware of that and try and keep yourself in a calm, centered place during this full moon. And obviously full moon's a time, it's water, isn't it? A time when emotions are heightened. So maybe, you know, meditating, being aware that this is a spirited fire sign, being aware that things could get theatrical, passionate around this time, and just trying to stay in a calm, centered place. In fact, I feel like when I tune into this 3D world, I think things are getting a bit crazy and a bit unbalanced. I'm seeing spiritual people that I've followed on social media for a couple of years, kind of coming out with some weird stuff, which is making me not want to watch them, and I'm just zoning out. And it's all about energy for me, what feels right, what doesn't feel right. Yeah, and I remember somebody saying actually that was going to happen this year, that we're going to see some big spiritual teachers start to, I can't remember how they worded it, but you're going to start questioning what they say. And it's intuition, isn't it? So if what you're tuning into feels right, carry on with it. If it doesn't, move away from it and find something that you do resonate with. We're all different. So looking at the cards that came up for the 4 questions that we asked for the week, this week I'm going to use the Metatron deck, and I'll just share the cards that came out with you for that really interesting what came out. So just let me move this out of the way. Put that over that side. So the 4 questions that we always ask for the week. The first one, so this is the card on the left, like what will the energy of the week be as a whole? And we've got this beautiful green heart healing card, and you'll notice the second one is healing as well. So it's going to be a week of healing. And that's interesting because at Imbolc, often we are asked to think about self-care because we've just been through the harsh winter. And skin's dry, isn't it? Your lips dry. My skin on my hands has started getting dry. I'm having to put more cream on. Actually, this morning my glands feel swollen and it's hurting to swallow. And even though I'm traveling, having this amazing time, living in a camper van is hard work. Everything is like double the effort. And yeah, I don't think I'm relaxing enough or taking care of myself. Like I need to book myself a massage. I can't have my baths. I'm not putting, because we go and have a shower in the communal place, you just want to get in there and get out. I'm not putting cream on my skin and things like that. Imbolc does ask you to think about how you can provide self-care for yourself. So I feel like we're being asked this week to think about how we're treating ourselves. I think Henry's outside the window. Yeah, he is. Physically and emotionally, and this card is asking you to do that as well. So green heart healing, Archangel Raphael's here this week. He uses the green ray for healing. How can you rest this week? And on this card, I want you to visualize this beautiful green diamond glowing inside of you. So just close your eyes for a minute and imagine this green diamond glowing inside of your heart space and feeding, giving your physical, emotional, spiritual body what you need right now. And those sharp points on that diamond, they're like lasers, and they will direct the green healing energy from Archangel Raphael wherever it's needed for you. So just imagine that those sharp points are lasering that green ray to wherever you need it. So just feel that heart healing coming in. And when you need that this week, just do that visualization. Now, also, I feel like this card is asking you to remember that your heart is a transmitter. So what are you beaming out to the world? What are you beaming out to the world? Is it love? Is it worry? Is it fear? Are you tuning into the news and going into fear? I think it's really important that you tune out of what's going on in the 3D at the moment. Tune out and stay in your lane and tune in. What do you need? And how can you keep your vibe high? Because it's by changing ourselves that we will change the world. So concentrate on you this week. So what unexpected thing is going to happen? If we move on to the second card, and we've got another healing card. And it says pause to receive. So I think unexpectedly, what's going to happen is we're going to realize that we do actually need some healing when we've been that busy, we've not really been thinking about ourselves. So unexpectedly, we'll be like, oh yeah, I do need some healing. And this card is going to ask you to switch off and rest your mind this week. Doesn't that feel nice? Because of the energy of 2023, like it's forward and it's action. And then last week we had all of those astrological shifts, like planets going direct. And I did say we'll be propelled forward. I think we've had a week of just action, action, action. And this week it's just like switch off and rest your mind for a bit, or we're going to hit burnout. So close your eyes again on this card. Close your eyes, switch off your mind. And Archangel Metatron's going to come in now and place his hands on you. So just feel that happen and feel Archangel Metatron placing his hands on you. He's my main guide. This is his deck by Amanda Ellis. And just feel those streams of colour that you saw on the card streaming down through you now, through your crown chakra, all the way through your body. This rainbow spectrum of colour streaming down and receiving colour healing from Metatron. As that rainbow spectrum is coming down through you, is the one particular colour that's standing out that you feel that you need? And for me, as I feel that, it's like red. I need red, which is all to do with the base chakra, feeling safe, feeling grounded. What colour ray do you feel like you're soaking in out of that rainbow spectrum? And again, as you feel you need that through the week, just when you feel like you need healing, close your eyes and ask Metatron to lay his hands on you and allow those streams of colour to come through you. But you've got to have this week, in order to receive that healing, a genuine desire to heal. So have a think about, how are you treating yourself? Are you exercising? Are you eating healthy foods? I had this massive desire to get up this morning and go for a run, straight walk, because I can't run fully at the moment. And it was like I had to do it, and I've not had that feeling yet. Oh yeah, it felt like my body needed my heart to race, and it needed that release of endorphins. So have you got that genuine desire to heal, to maybe change a few things in your life and to help you heal? And then third card in, how can we stay balanced this week? This is a really interesting card. It says Cosmos mirrors you, and it's got the sacred geometry shape of the dodecahedron on there. And I'll just get in our next webinar late in February, 22nd, I think. We're going to be working with sacred geometry and crystals. It's going to be really interesting. But this is the dodecahedron. And this card is basically saying the world is mirroring you right now. So I just said, I feel like this week the world's going crazy, and some spiritual people are saying some dodgy stuff that they don't normally come out with. And this card is basically saying that's happening. It's basically saying what we feel is chaotic and disjointed in the world is as a result of our scattered thoughts, words, and feelings. So this is Metatron basically giving me and you a kick up the bum. If we're judging the world as being chaotic, it's actually a reflection of us. So this healing card about switching the mind off, Henry's crying, switching the mind off and going internal, connecting with our feminine side. If we can do that, then that will be reflected out to the world. So I thought it was a really good card and a really good wake-up call. Whatever's going on out there is a reflection of what's going on in our heads. So as soon as we can adopt these healing techniques, the outside world's going to feel much more less chaotic. And, you know, I'm not saying we've done that consciously, on purpose. We haven't, but now Metatron's here to bring it to your conscious so that you know what you've got to do. Because at the moment, what we think and project outward is so powerful, especially this year in 2023. So the dodecahedron is connected to the throat chakra. I don't know if you knew that as well. So it's really important that our thoughts and what we speak are loving, positive, grateful. And that's not just for what we speak out, but what are we hearing? What are we putting in? What are you listening to? So have a good think about that this week. That's how you can stay balanced. And then finally, what advice does the spirit guide have? Really interesting card. We've got the Akashic Records card, which basically says to me that this week we all need to delve into our Akashic Records and see what's there for us. There'll be some information on a past life because it's asking us to evaluate and review our Akashic Records. So we've all got a task this week to do, our spirit guides are saying. If you don't know what the Akashic Records are, they hold everything that you've done, seen, or experienced. All of that is recorded in the Akashic Records. That's in this life and all of your previous lives and future lives. So it's a great thing to get access to that, and we can all access the Akashic Records. If you're not sure how to do it, I have got a webinar that was recorded that will teach you how to do it, that you can purchase for £5. I'll put in the link below. But I've also got a free meditation that you can do that can take you into the Akashic Records, and I'll put that link below. But basically, I'm an Akashic Records practitioner. That's why I work with Archangel Metatron, because he holds the keys to all the Akashic Records. He knows what you still need to work on, as well as what unique gifts you have for this lifetime. So he can help you access that information. But it's really important this week that we kind of look at that and maybe have a look at what repetitive patterns keep reoccurring in our life, and maybe have a think, does that have roots in other lives? So for example, if you always have money problems in this life, like you have a lack mindset, never believe you're going to be rich, it could have been because in a previous life you took a vow of poverty, and then that vow of poverty needs clearing so that you can move forward on this life. And that's what you do in the free meditation that I've linked below. So advice for this week: access your Akashic Records and see what's waiting for you. Making sure you stay balanced, because what's going on like that will reflect what's going on in your head. And there's a lot of healing coming in for us this week. So just being open to that healing, but also taking care of ourselves, thinking how can we provide self-care to ourselves in order for that healing to be really effective. Okay, so all that remains to say is enjoy your week. I may see you in a week's time. It might be a couple of weeks. We'll see how it goes. And don't forget that you are a divine and sovereign being, and you are very much needed on the planet at this time.